Oh, hello and welcome to another video on development of my model railway, Crowswood Model Railway. Not much has happened really. The track has been pinned down, and in doing so I have found there's a dip. Some of the engines have a difficulty. Aberdeen Commonwealth can have a bit of difficulty, and I'm guessing the reason is because the rear pony truck doesn't really move. I think that's the issue. Otherwise, the Adams radial has difficulty, but nothing else does. So if I send her on her way, but this is the only issue I've found so far. But just in front of her, as I zoom in, there's a join between two boards, and on that join, there's the join there, right next to the church. That coincides with the dip, and that does cause some issues with some engines, but most are alright with it. Most will just go over no problem. In fact, so you should have seen that there was the coaches sort of move over the dip. There's, when everything's up and running, there's not really a problem. The King Arthur doesn't have a problem. Q1 doesn't have a problem. 695 700 class doesn't have a problem. The E4 doesn't have a problem. So when the Adams radial does on the inside line, but not the outside. So generally speaking, it's all right. It's not the end of the world. It probably might get fixed with a bit of ballasting. In terms of vehicles, I've picked up an Oxford Rail weathered truck. Bring it this to the camera. Staines Southern Railway. Hopefully the camera can pick that up if it wants to focus on it. I'm on camera. Ah, the joys of modern technology. You want to focus on everything but the wagon. But as I say, Staines on it and Southern Railway. And being weathered, it fits in a bit better with the theme of the railway, even though I generally prefer pristine. Another thing, which you've probably been able to see in the background, is I fitted a wall and some of the Pico sheep and lambs inside the wall. I do need to touch up a bit of scatter to mask the wall because it doesn't sit quite right. That's Javis flexible fencing. And then just behind that tree there's a fence, one of the rough fences. So you can see why that tree doesn't quite sit right because of the slope. It sits okay on one side but not the other. So I'll touch that up with a bit of grass and then that'll look a lot better. I've added a few buildings. So I've got a small signal box which gives me all three of Metcalfe's signal boxes on the layout. This one would be to serve the goods, the passenger locomotive sidings, although there is a Q1 in there, in the coal siding, or what I plan to have as a coal siding. There's water, coal, and there's 4 bays which will have locomotives in. And linked to that, I've put in, this building is fixed, and I've checked all the clearances for the tank engines because this is the tank engine side. So this would serve a water tower, which is going here. It's a Pico water tower. I think it's a kit, but I'll be painting it into olive green and picking out some bits in black and brass, so it looks a bit fancier. And so, but this building will serve the crossing, serve the water tower, and also have workmen in it coming along. And then I've built the stone because I want this to look like an older area. So I chose gone for the stone shed here. And there's a small hut. I doubt it'll focus. Nope, it doesn't want to focus. Come on. There we go. So Crowswood written on it as part of all the areas. And there's a chap with another bottle coming out to get 473 ready for a long day's work. One thing which I did is one of my great grandfather's HO scale cars. It's an old Opel, so I put it there in the village area. It used to be part of the upper board, but that is getting dismantled and taken down. It doesn't give me as much loco space as I want, and it also covers up a fair bit of the board. You can see by a shadow, it does cover up a fair bit of the board. So I want to remove it and in place put 9-inch wide shelving, and that should be enough. And then I'll be able to put locomotives up there, and I can store more locos on a smaller shelf, which makes, so logically it makes sense, but I'm going to be trying to use as much of what's up here as possible on a 6 foot by 2 foot narrow gauge layout, which I'll be building at some point. The narrow gauge layout will just purely be a preservation-y thing. It's just running whatever. It's a bit more freedom than what I've got with this. So there's not really, so there's not really much more apart from what I've listed. I'm fannying about in front of the church. Ooh, I can zoom quickly. Ooh, learning new things. But yeah, what I'll do is I will put Aberdeen Commonwealth on for a few passes at 40% speed. Just sort of end the video on an engine running. There's not been as much sort of progress. March is possibly going to be a bit of a bigger month, I hope, especially with that coming down. But yep, I will Aberdeen Commonwealth on running for a bit, and then I will sort of end the video. So I don't know when the next video upload will be, but still haven't sorted a schedule. It's just whenever I've done enough, I feel that a video could be made. So right, just gonna send off Aberdeen Commonwealth for a few shots, and yeah, until next time.